What if I told you there's a specific kind of dread, not born from fear of the unknown, but from a terrifying familiarity? A feeling that the world around you is subtly, but irrevocably, losing its mind. You see it in the casual cruelty, the rampant self-deception, the way logic buckles under the weight of irrational conviction. It's like a low hum beneath the surface of polite society, a vibration of something deeply wrong, and you can't quite name it. You feel it in the way conversations skate over the truth, in the hollow pursuit of approval, in the collective aversion to anything that forces real introspection. You witness the unacknowledged aggression in supposedly kind acts, the envy simmering beneath smiles of congratulations. It's the constant unspoken agreement to pretend, to keep the illusion intact. And in this charade, you feel increasingly like an alien, a discordant note in a symphony of denial. You watch humanity at times hurtle towards what feels like self-destruction, propelled by forces no one seems willing to confront. This isn't a personal failing. This isn't a flaw in your perception. This is Carl Jung's most chilling insight. He saw it coming. He named it. And he warned us, this is about the collective shadow, the accumulation of all that humanity rejects, denies, and represses, not just individually, but as an entire species. It's the discarded debris of our shared psyche, the universal shame, the primal rage, the collective envy, the archaic fears we refuse to look at. When these elements are consistently pushed into the darkness, they don't vanish. They gather power, they fester, and eventually they demand to be seen. Jung understood that nations, cultures, and indeed humanity itself have a shadow, just like an individual. And his scariest prediction was simple. If we refuse to acknowledge and integrate this monstrous collective shadow, it will inevitably erupt into irrationality, projection, mass psychosis, and ultimately, self-inflicted catastrophe. We are witnessing its slow, deliberate creep into the daylight. And you, perhaps more than most, are sensing it. The unsettling clarity, seeing the collective facade. You perceive reality with a dangerous, almost brutal clarity. This isn't about being smarter or more observant. It's a different kind of seeing. It penetrates the surface. When others speak, you hear the words yes, but you also hear the unspoken fear beneath them. You discern the silent, desperate plea for validation in their boasting. Their laughter sometimes sounds like a desperate attempt to drown out inner turmoil. While they present a curated version of themselves, you pick up the subtle tremors of their unacknowledged shadow. Their carefully constructed narrative collapses under the weight of their radiating energy. You don't just see people, you see through them. This isn't a gift you asked for. It's a relentless, unblinking eye on the world. You witness the compromises, the soul-crushing concessions people make for security or status. You see the deep loneliness in relationships that appear perfect from the outside. This unfiltered perception makes you a walking mirror. And mirrors, particularly honest ones, terrify those who have spent lifetimes perfecting a facade. Your presence often creates an immediate, palpable tension in a room. It's not your imagination. That unease is the unconscious of others recognizing that you perceive their shadow. The parts they've buried so profoundly, they've convinced themselves those parts don't exist. Your very being poses an uncomfortable, unspoken question. Why are you still pretending? And rather than face that unsettling truth, it's easier to make you the problem. You're too intense. You overthink everything. Can't you just be normal? But for you, normal often means participating in the collective delusion. It means accepting superficiality as reality. It means betraying the very essence of how you experience the world. This is the first echo of the collective shadow's influence. It forces individuals to hide. It demands conformity to a lowest common denominator of consciousness. This perception, this raw clarity, is precisely why you feel so profoundly out of step with the world. It reveals not just individual shadows, but the deep, murky waters of the collective one. This is a burden, certainly, but it's also a profound asset. It's what allows you to cut through the noise. It enables you to discern authenticity from performance. And in a world increasingly reliant on smoke and mirrors, this capacity for truth is rare and indispensable. You see too much, feel too much, know too much, to comfortably inhabit the common illusions. This truth, if it resonates with the deep knowing within you, signifies that you are on a specific path, a path not many walk. If you feel this unique sense of recognition, this profound yes echoing in your soul, consider joining a community that understands these deep currents, a place where complex thoughts are welcomed and authenticity is the only currency. This journey of understanding yourself and the larger collective forces at play has only just begun. There are more depths to explore, more truths to unearth. The soul's rebellion. When shallow waters drown, your soul has a severe, almost physiological allergy to superficiality. Small talk feels like a form of psychological torture, slowly draining your life force. Casual friendships, built on surface-level pleasantries, leave you feeling profoundly lonelier than solitude ever could. You don't crave conversation, you demand communion. You need interactions that bypass the weather, the latest consumer trends, or the empty gossip, and dive straight into the raw, pulsating heart of existence. You crave connections where masks are not just optional, but impossible. Jung, in his profound exploration of the human psyche, understood this type of existential tension. He noted that certain personality types live in a constant state of disquiet. They cannot fully participate in the collective unconsciousness, the unthinking, unexamined consensus, but neither can they completely escape it. You are caught between worlds, too awake to truly sleep, too human to fully transcend. The shadow side of this deep need for authenticity is its isolating effect. While you hunger for genuine connection, for the profound exchange of unvarnished truth, most people are perfectly content with emotional fast food. They seek comfort, not challenging truth. They yearn for validation, not growth. They prefer to remain safely, comfortably unconscious. And when you cannot, will not give them that easy comfort, they experience you as a threat. You disrupt their carefully constructed reality. You expose the emptiness. Consider the relationships you've quietly let fade, or those that dissolved without explanation. Often, it wasn't due to a specific transgression on your part. It was because you could no longer pretend. You couldn't laugh at empty jokes. You couldn't engage in trivial chatter when your soul was screaming to discuss the very meaning of our ephemeral existence. For a consciousness like yours, superficial interaction doesn't merely bore you. It literally drains your life force, leaving you depleted, resentful, and utterly exhausted. The collective shadow thrives on this superficiality. It wants us distracted, fragmented, unable to connect deeply enough to challenge its unconscious reign. Your refusal to participate in this charade is a powerful, if solitary, act of resistance. You are, in essence, refusing to feed the beast. This is a profound and often painful truth about your nature. It highlights the vast chasm between your internal landscape and the external world's demands. The psychic sponge, bearing the unspoken burden. You absorb everything. It goes beyond merely observing thoughts or emotions. You unconsciously transmute the psychological debris of everyone around you. Other people's unexpressed rage, their repressed grief, their denied desires, their quiet desperation. You pick it all up. You aren't just an observer. You are an emotional alchemist. Jung called this phenomenon participation mystique, a primal state where individual boundaries dissolve and one merges with the collective unconscious. For most, this happens rarely, in moments of intense collective ritual or profound empathy. For you, it's a constant, often overwhelming state. That sudden wave of depression that hits you from nowhere, it's often not yours. That gripping anxiety in your chest, you might have absorbed it from the colleague who sat next to you, or the stranger you passed on the street. That inexplicable fury, it could be the unexpressed rage of 1,000 people you've encountered today, funneled through you. This explains your profound need for solitude. It's not antisocial behavior. It's a necessary process of sorting. You need silence to hear your own thoughts again, to distinguish what is genuinely yours from the psychic noise of the world. You need solitude to remember who you are beneath the layers of absorbed collective emotion. Here is the brutal truth, though. This absorption can become a perverse addiction. When you are drowning in the emotions of others, you don't have to face your own emptiness. When you are constantly solving everyone else's problems, you avoid confronting yours. When you are the perpetual counselor, the healer, the one everyone comes to, you bypass your own inner work until one day you wake up and realize you know everyone else's soul intimately, but your own is a stranger. This is the insidious way the collective shadow operates. It encourages individuals to project their unintegrated parts onto others, and it preys on those sensitive enough to absorb these projections. Your capacity for empathy, your openness, becomes a conduit for the collective's unacknowledged suffering. And that, dear friend, is when the real battle begins. Not with the outside world, but within yourself. Because having this rare openness means living with a psychic split that can tear you apart daily. The internal split, betraying the authentic self. You are fighting an invisible war between who you truly are and who the world constantly demands you to be. Jung understood that people like you live with a fundamental, exhausting split. Your true self, in its raw intensity and profound depth, is simply too much for everyday consumption. So, you fragment. There's the professional you, the social you, the family you. Each is a carefully calibrated performance, a modulated version of your authentic self. All of them are exhausting. None of them are truly you. Every mask you wear is a small, quiet betrayal of your inherent nature. Every time you consciously dial down your intensity, every moment you pretend to be normal, you feed the insidious lie that who you really are is unacceptable. This internal split manifests in symptoms that conventional medicine often cannot explain. There's the chronic fatigue that no amount of sleep seems to cure. Your soul is utterly exhausted from the constant performance, from the endless self-editing. There's the anxiety that appears from nowhere, a raw scream from your authentic self, desperately yearning to be released. There's the depression that descends like a thick, suffocating fog, the grief of living as a stranger to your own being. You are not mentally ill in the conventional sense. You are spiritually suffocating, starved of the oxygen of authenticity. Jung knew this deep truth. The very thing you are hiding, your intensity, your depth, your rare way of seeing the world, is precisely what the world desperately needs. Every significant breakthrough in human consciousness, every paradigm shift, every revolutionary idea, originated from someone who simply could not see things the normal way. Every societal revolution began in the mind of someone too sensitive, too aware, to accept the status quo. That is you. That is your inherent role in the grand tapestry of humanity. But you cannot fulfill it while you are fragmented, broken into performative pieces. The sheer exhaustion of maintaining these false selves, these carefully constructed masks, is unsustainable. Your body knows it. Your soul knows it. And deep down, in the quietest part of your being, you know it too. This internal war is a direct consequence of the collective shadow's pressure to conform, to homogenize, to suppress anything that deviates from its unconscious norms. But something else is happening, too. Something almost mystical. Even as you fragment yourself to fit in, your true frequency is sending out an undeniable signal, and there are others who can hear it. The echo of recognition, finding your reflection. This brings us to a phenomenon Jung explored, a realm where logic often yields to intuition. You recognize your own kind instantly. It's not a logical process. You meet someone, anywhere, at any time, and within seconds, you simply know. There's a frequency match, a soul recognition, a profound feeling of, ah, there you are, I've been looking for you. Jung termed this synchronicity, but it goes deeper. It's like having a secret antenna, exquisitely tuned to pick up only certain specific signals. When you encounter someone operating on your wavelength, your entire system lights up. Time seems to warp. Masks drop effortlessly, without conscious intention. You find yourself sharing things you've never told anyone, secrets held close for decades, and they are nodding, not in polite agreement, but with a deep, resonant understanding, as if they have been waiting their entire lives to hear exactly what you are saying. These connections are exceptionally rare. Perhaps you've had one or two in your entire lifetime, Perhaps you are still searching, still yearning for this profound resonance. But when they happen, they validate everything you have always felt, but could never quite prove. You are not alone. You are not crazy. You are not too much. You are simply rare, and rare, true rare, recognizes rare. However, here lies the shadow side of this recognition. Once you have tasted this profound, unvarnished recognition, everything else feels like a form of starvation. Once you have been genuinely seen, truly understood, invisibility becomes an agony. Your internal frequency simply cannot settle for static anymore. This is precisely why you might find yourself unconsciously sabotaging relationships that demand you dim your light. It's why you would rather embrace solitude than endure the pretense required by superficial connections. You cannot go backward once you have experienced authentic connection. Your soul has established new standards now, and those standards are directly connected to something even larger, a purpose that has been burning inside you, quietly, persistently, since before you could even name it. This purpose, though, it's not what you think. It is bigger, it is stranger, and it is infinitely more important than anything you've been told about finding your path in this world. This recognition of your own kind is a direct counterforce to the collective shadow, which seeks to atomize and isolate individuals. It is a spark of humanity reaching for authentic connection, a necessary step in the collective's journey towards integration. If you've resonated with these insights, if you feel a stirring within your own depths, consider delving further into the mind of Carl Jung. His work provides a profound map for navigating these complex inner and outer landscapes. Explore the Carl Jung playlist. The link will be in the pinned comment. The Uncontainable Purpose, a call beyond the veil. You carry a purpose too vast for a single lifetime. This isn't about a career path or a list of mundane goals. This is a purpose that burns in your bones. It wakes you at 3:00 a.m. with downloads so immense, so intricate, that your mind struggles to process them. It feels less like a choice you've made, and more like a cosmic assignment you've been given. Jung understood this profound burden. He often spoke of individuated people, those who have courageously integrated their personal shadow and begun to embody their authentic self, as carrying a specific, vital responsibility to the collective. They possess the unique capacity to see what truly needs healing in the collective psyche. They feel what desperately needs expression. They instinctively know what new paradigms, what new ways of being need to be brought into creation. Yet here lies the painful paradox. The very sensitivity that allows you to feel this profound purpose also makes it almost impossible to fulfill in the current world. Because to truly do what you came here to do, you would have to be fully, uncompromisingly yourself. And being fully yourself in a world steeped in the collective shadow often feels like social suicide. Your purpose is not comfortable. It is not about success measured by conventional standards. It is about being a bridge between worlds. It's about saying what others cannot yet articulate. It's about healing what others don't even realize is deeply wounded. It's about midwifing a new way of being into existence. This is precisely why nothing ever feels truly enough for you. Why even your successes leave you with a gnawing emptiness. You are not here merely to succeed. You are here to transform, to wake something up, to catalyze profound change. But you cannot do that while you are hiding, while you are fragmenting yourself to fit into a world that doesn't yet understand your frequency. This is where most people get hopelessly stuck. They feel the insistent calling, but they shrink from its immense cost. They sense their profound purpose, but they recoil from its radical demands. They know, deep down, they are meant for something far greater, something more meaningful, but they settle for something safe, something predictable. The harrowing question remains, will you? The sacred scar, alchemy of your deepest pain. The seventh and most profound truth is this: your greatest wound is your greatest gift. Jung discovered that individuals destined for deeper consciousness often carry what he termed a sacred wound. This is not merely a trauma, it is a deep psychic injury inflicted early in life that paradoxically becomes the inexhaustible source of their unique power. Perhaps you were the child who felt everything too deeply, whose emotions were too raw, too intense for your environment. The one who saw through the family facades, who couldn't pretend everything was okay when it patently was not. That hypersensitivity, which made you a target for misunderstanding or dismissal, is the very same sensitivity that now allows you to perceive what others tragically miss. That profound isolation you experienced, that feeling of being an outsider looking in, forced you to develop an inner world so rich, so vast, that it became capable of sustaining you. That inherent inability to fit in, to conform, paradoxically preserved your authenticity in a world that relentlessly rewards conformity. Your wound, in its brutal honesty, taught you to see in the dark. And now, armed with that hard-won sight, you possess the rare capacity to guide others through their own darkness. This is the ultimate alchemical truth Jung uncovered. What breaks us open is precisely what allows the light to enter. What isolates us is what, in turn, makes us uniquely powerful. What wounds us is what, paradoxically, awakens us to our true potential. But here is what most people tragically misunderstand. The integration of this sacred wound is not about healing it away, as if it were a defect to be eradicated. It is about honoring it as your profound teacher, your initiation into a deeper reality, your sacred marking that declares, "I survived what should have destroyed me, and now I am dangerous to every lie, every facade, every collective delusion." This wound gift makes you a natural healer, not because you are perfect, but precisely because you are real, unvarnished, and authentic. Not because you have transcended pain, but because you have courageously alchemized it into profound wisdom. So here we are, at the undeniable moment of truth. You have recognized these powerful signs. You have felt the profound relief of finally being seen, of being understood, perhaps for the very first time. But recognition, dear friend, is not transformation. You can know you are rare, profoundly unique, and still spend the rest of your life pretending to be common, shrinking from your true potential. Jung, in his timeless wisdom, stated it best: the privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are. For a personality type like yours, for souls who feel the deep currents of the collective shadow, this isn't merely a privilege. It is a sacred responsibility, because the world does not, cannot, needs another well-adjusted, conforming person. It needs you, in all your complicated, intense, too much glory. The path forward will not be easy. People will resist the real you. Some will undoubtedly leave your life. The world, in its often unconscious resistance to truth, will test your commitment to authenticity in 1,000 unexpected ways. But something else, something profound and beautiful, will also happen. The right people, those operating on your frequency, will finally find you. Work that only you are uniquely qualified to do will begin to reveal itself. Your real life, the one waiting patiently beneath all the masks, all the performances, will finally begin to unfold. Your sensitivity is not a weakness. It is a powerful, almost supernatural superpower in a world numbed by apathy. Your intensity is not too much. It is exactly what is needed to cut through the collective shadow's fog. Your inability to fit in, to conform to shallow norms, is not a flaw. It is, in fact, your most significant contribution to a world desperately seeking a new way forward. The profound question that now stands before you is this: are you truly ready to own it? If you have made it this far, if these words have resonated with the deepest parts of your being, you are not here by accident. Videos of this depth, of this unfiltered truth, do not find people randomly. They find people who are ready. Ready to stop hiding. Ready to stop fragmenting themselves. Ready to finally, unequivocally, start living as who they truly are. This is your invitation to join a tribe of rare souls, individuals who steadfastly refuse to dim their light, who choose profound depth over superficial surface, brutal truth over comfortable delusion, and radical authenticity over fleeting approval. Share this video with someone you think needs to hear this right now. Not everyone will understand it, but that one person who is struggling with their own intensity, who thinks they are broken because they cannot do shallow, who desperately needs to hear that their difference is their greatest gift. Comment right now, and let me know what in this video hits you the hardest. Your honesty might be the exact story someone else needs to take that leap. Because in a world addicted to facades, your authenticity isn't just personal liberation, it is powerful medicine for a dying world. And we, the collective we, desperately need you to be exactly who you are. Welcome to your real life. Welcome to your true frequency. Welcome home. Remember this, always. You were not born to fit in. You were born to stand out. And now, finally, you understand why. I will see you in the depths.